Today, I'll be showing you how to very easily grab 75 Spoils of Conquest completely solo without completing any raid encounter. I will also be showing you 15 additional spoils if you can borrow a second player for 2 minutes, for a total of 90 spoils each week. I know this is a solo guide, but having a second person with you makes this much quicker because you guys can load into each other while exchanging characters. So if you can grab a friend, make sure you do that. Let's start with the simplest one, that being Vow of the Disciple. Once you launch the raid, you will be greeted with Sabathun's copy. To easily defeat it, I suggest using a linear fusion rifle and something like Izanagi's Burden. After defeating the copy, you are going to have to shoot 3 pyramid constructs in order to open up the door to the hidden chest. With this, you have 2 options. You can either kill the abominations only to remove the darkness debuff, or you can completely ignore all enemies and sparrow up towards the mechanisms that we have to destroy. If you choose to ignore the abominations, then you will die to the debuff, but you will also respawn exactly where you died. The first mechanism is right under this falling tree, simply shoot it to activate it. The second mechanism is on the left side behind the pillars. The third mechanism is under this bridge and you can access it through the other side. Once you have shot all 3 of them, you can proceed to this area where the door will be open and loot up the chest inside. You can do this on all 3 classes per week. If for some reason you have duplicate characters like 2 hunters, then only one of them can grab it. Next up, we are going to pay a visit to our good old Vault of Glass. Now in here, I am going to show you 3 different methods. The first one only grants you 1 chest, which is 5 spoils. The second method will grant you 2 chests, which is 10 spoils. And the final method, which is the one I recommend, will grant you 4 chests or 20 spoils. So it all depends on how much time do you have and how committed you are. For the first method, we are going to use a sparrow technique that can push you through walls. For this, you want to strafe left with your sparrow as you're getting off at the same time. You also want a sword, preferably with eager edge, and you can also use the strand grapple. Head your way towards this rock and position your sparrow nicely tucked in. That way, when you strafe left and get off, sometimes you'll get pushed underground. I found it much more consistent on PC when I keybinded the sparrow strafe to a different input like my side mouse button. Have your sword ready because after you manage to do this, you will quickly have to swing your sword and get to the platform in front of you. Now you want to slightly jump up and swing or grapple to the next platform. From this platform, we are going to jump up, but because there's an invisible barrier, you're going to have to jump out to avoid it. From here, it's pretty straightforward, just follow me. Once you get to this point, you want to have your sword and grapple ready, because when you jump forward, you will load into the next section mid-air. And here it's very important that you do not touch the ground, because that will mess up your respawn point. So after jumping forward, simply aim for an empty spot where you can fall off the map and die. If done correctly, you should respawn inside the cave. If you do mess up and end up landing on the ground before dying, then you can simply walk to the previous loading zone and then try doing it again. Also, there are times where after loading into the next zone, you will instantly get teleported inside the cave, in which case, good for you. Once you make it inside the cave, simply follow me to the first secret chest. For the second method, you will be able to grab 2 chests. With this one, you have to complete the first encounter solo, which is honestly really easy once you know what to do. This encounter requires you to activate 3 plates and keep the minotaurs off them. You activate the plates by standing on them for a couple of seconds. When you see a shockwave, that means that the plate has been activated, and the only enemies that can deactivate the plate are the minotaurs. However, as long as you find the 3 minotaurs and shoot them in their head so it comes off, they will forget about the plates and start chasing you the whole time. That's how you keep them off the plates. One last thing to keep in mind is that the minotaurs can only disrupt their own plate. That means that the left minotaur cannot disrupt the middle or right side plate. I do recommend either running Invis, Banner of War or Restoration to keep you alive. Start with the left plate and shoot the minotaur's head off. Now proceed to the middle plate and instantly kill this minotaur and capture the plate. This middle minotaur will spawn right here, so just wait for him, and once he spawns, simply blow his head off. With 2 minotaurs chasing you, go towards the third plate, and in here you can kill the right side minotaur and activate this plate. After that, all you have to do is defend this last plate while kiting the other 2 minotaurs chasing you. The other option is to blow the third minotaur's head off after you activate the plate, that way you can kite all 3 minotaurs. After having all 3 plates active for about 2 to 3 minutes, the encounter will complete and the main door will open. Grab the first chest and follow me to the second one. Moving on, this next method allows you to grab all 4 chests in this raid, and it's honestly pretty simple. It involves using any of these 3 checkpoint bots to load up into the post Templar CP. So go ahead and type /join the names of the bot in your chat and then send it. After that, you simply wait for the bot to launch you into Vault of Glass. Once you're here, if you want to save this checkpoint, all you have to do is go down until you see the Gorgon's Labyrinth zone pop up on the bottom left side of your screen. Now you can go back to orbit and you'll have the checkpoint saved up. We are going to have to do some backtracking, so equip Strand, an Igorot sword, and your best mobility exotic, such as Stompies for hunters, and follow me. Once you get to this first chest, if you have a teammate, then they can join you and they will spawn right here without having to do all the backtracking. So if you want to swap characters and join a friend, then you want to do it right here. After you grab this first chest, follow me to the second one. Now that we have grabbed the second chest, it's time to head up to the Gorgon's maze. I am purposely not going to use invisibility in the maze, just to make this guide more accessible for everyone. However, if you do have a Void Hunter, then go ahead and put on Invis because it makes it much safer. Down here is where you will spawn after we wipe, and in order to obtain the chest in the maze, we have to go and shoot down 3 oracles scattered around the maze. So go ahead and wipe in order to reset the pathing of the Gorgons. After you wipe, follow me to the 3 oracles. For this first one, you simply have to climb up on this rock and you can shoot it from here. After this, drop down here, and if you have to wait for the gorgons to calm down, then you can chill in here for a couple of seconds until you are ready to move forward. Now, in this area, it's fine to double jump as long as you do it high enough so they can't hear you. This is the location of the second oracle. After this, once again, pay attention to the gorgons, and once they leave, you can go ahead and jump down. Stick to the left side and run all the way to the end where you will find the third oracle. Don't worry if you get spotted early, because you still have time to run and shoot the third oracle before you wipe. The door stays open even if you wipe. After shooting the third oracle, go ahead and wipe to reset the gorgons and to spawn at the beginning. From here, all you have to do is stick to the right side until you get to the room with the chest. There are some gorgons along the way, so watch out for them. But like I mentioned before, you have enough time to grab the chest even if they spot you. After grabbing the third chest, wipe again, and this time we are going to do the Chad's way of traversing the maze, which is basically just running through it while hugging the right side wall. Follow me to see how it's done. Once you get to the chasm, in here you can either take it slow and jump from platform to platform, or you can grapple and eager edge to the other side. Once you get there, you will find the fourth and final chest hidden above. Jump up and grab the chest. If you want your teammate to also spawn here next to the fourth chest, then simply walk towards the door so it saves the respawn point here. That way you guys can exchange characters and grab the chest on all of them. So with this method alone, you're able to get 60 spoils per week completely solo, and it's even quicker if you do it as a team of 2. That means that with VOW and VOG you can get a total of 75 spoils per week completely solo. Next up, I'm going to show you how to obtain another 15 if you have a second person to do it with. In this method, you are going to load up into Crotas End and complete the tutorial encounter, which all it requires you to do is to grab the chalice and wait for it to fill up. Once the chalice is full, ask your teammate to take it from you. Once he takes the chalice, now you will have the Enlightened buff, which you can use to ignite the plate that you're standing on. After that, simply stand on the plate and wait for the bridge to build up. Once the bridge is fully built up, jump down and you will get to the first encounter. And here you can rally if you want and follow me to the first hidden chest. Having an eager-edged sword and strand grapple helps, but you can also do it without. This chest will give you 5 spoils and raid loot as long as you have previously unlocked any from the encounters. Now simply switch characters and join on each other, alternating and grabbing the chest. That is a total of 90 spoils each week that can be very easily acquired in under an hour once you get used to it. There is also a chest that you can open in Root of Nightmares by backtracking from Nezarek's checkpoint, but honestly, that one is simply too complicated and not worth wasting your time. Finally, if you want to farm infinite spoils, then you can do so by farming any Crotas end encounter. There's plenty of LFGs out there looking for people to farm it. With a good team, you can pretty much one-phase all of the encounters, so it's up to you which one you want to do. I suggest doing Ear Youth. And that is all for today's guide. If you enjoy the content, then consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I really hope that you find this useful, and if you have any questions, then join up my Discord server and we'll be more than happy to help you with anything in there. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day.